1971. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a simple 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Imagine holding a coin in your hand that once bought bubble gum or a newspaper, now worth more than an entire month's paycheck. This isn't a fantasy. This is the incredible story of a coin that has taken collectors by storm, the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Back in 1971, millions of pennies rolled out of the Philadelphia Mint, quietly slipping into everyday pockets and piggy banks across America. Kids traded them for candy, parents dropped them into coffee jars, and most people never thought twice about them. But among those billions of coins, a small number carried something extraordinary, a subtle difference, an unmarked mystery that turned an ordinary penny into a national treasure. One man, years later, found his while sorting through his late father's coin jar. That one penny, overlooked for decades, ended up being valued at more than $10,000. It was a reminder that history doesn't just live in books, sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. So what makes the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable? First, these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and unlike other mints, Philadelphia didn't mark its coins with a mint letter. But not all 1971 pennies are created equal. A very limited number were struck using master dies that produced razor-sharp details, deeper impressions, and perfectly centered lettering, coins so pristine that collectors today pay premium prices for them. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS-67 red or higher by professional services, have sold for thousands of dollars at major auctions. Many people once spent these special pennies without realizing what they held. They passed through soda machines, grocery counters, and Sunday church offerings, priceless coins used as pocket change. And now, as collectors race to find the few that remain, those who once ignored them can only watch as their forgotten treasures rise in value every single year. The market for rare Lincoln pennies has never been stronger, and the 1971 no-mint mark variety is now one of the most sought-after pieces in the hobby. When you hold a 1971 penny, pay close attention to its color and detail. The most valuable versions have a bright red copper luster that looks almost untouched by time. The lettering around the rim, Liberty and In God We Trust, should be crisp, bold, and perfectly struck. Abraham Lincoln's profile should appear clean and well-defined, and the reverse side, the Monticello Memorial, should display sharp architectural lines. If your penny shows these signs, you may be holding something truly special. To confirm its true value, have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, two of the most trusted coin authentication services in the world. They'll evaluate its condition, strike quality, and luster, and if your coin meets the top standard, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Many collectors and dealers across the country are currently buying these pennies at record prices. So before you spend that old jar of coin sitting in your kitchen, take one last look. That little copper coin from 1971, the same kind you once dropped into a soda machine or found on the sidewalk, could be worth more than you ever imagined. The past has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention. Don't let your treasure slip away unnoticed. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you discover the hidden wealth of history, one coin at a time. 1975. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1975, one you might have held as a child, or perhaps still sitting quietly in an old jar in your kitchen, could now be worth thousands of dollars? This isn't just any penny, it's the 1975 no-mint mark Monticello Thomas Lincoln penny, a mysterious coin that has collectors across America searching through their old change with hope and excitement. Picture this, it's 1975. Gas is cheap, Elvis is still on the radio, and a young boy in Illinois drops a shiny new penny into his pocket after buying a pack of gum. Decades later, while going through his late father's coin collection, he spots that same coin, still bright, still marked with history, but missing one tiny thing that would change everything: the mint mark. What he didn't know then, and what so many people don't realize now, is that this little detail transforms an ordinary penny into a rare treasure. The 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is incredibly sought after because it shouldn't exist the way it does. Most pennies that year were struck with a mint mark, showing where they were made, but a small number somehow left the mint floor without that mark. It's a striking error that only happens in rare cases of die changes or mint transitions. The result? A coin that appears plain to the average eye but shines like gold to collectors. Many experts compare its rarity to some of the most coveted Lincoln cents in history. The combination of the year, its pristine design, and that missing mark has made it one of the most talked about modern rarities in the hobby today, and here's where the story turns emotional. Countless people have spent or given away this coin without knowing its true worth. It's heartbreaking to think that a coin like this may have slipped through someone's fingers at a gas station or been tossed into a coin jar at the bank. Each time, a small piece of American history vanishes into circulation again, a lost opportunity worth potentially thousands of dollars. When you pick up an old penny from your drawer, look closely. The date should read 1975. There should be no mint mark under the date, no D, no S, just a clean, simple year. Flip the coin and admire the image of the Lincoln Memorial. It should be crisp, balanced, and full of detail. If you see that, don't just toss it aside. You may be holding one of the rarest cents of its generation. If you think you found one, don't take chances. Have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, the two most trusted coin authentication companies in the world. They'll confirm its authenticity and assign a value based on condition. A verified example can sell for thousands at auction, and the demand keeps rising year after year as collectors scramble to add it to their collections. So the next time you're counting pennies from a jar, remember this: that small copper coin might hold a piece of history, a whisper from the past waiting to reward your patience. Don't underestimate what's in your hands. Sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't buried in the ground, they're resting quietly in your own home. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, because together, we uncover the hidden history of America, one coin at a time. 1978. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1978, the same kind that jingled in your pocket decades ago, could now be worth thousands of dollars? Yes, that's right. One ordinary-looking coin from your childhood, one that most people would overlook, has turned out to be one of the most talked-about modern rarities in American coin collecting history. This isn't just any penny, it's the mysterious 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and it's capturing the attention of collectors across the country. Picture this: a man in his late 60s, cleaning out an old coffee tin in his garage, a tin that had been sitting there since the 1980s. He poured the coins out on the table, expecting nothing but loose change. But one penny caught his eye. It looked normal at first glance, but something about it felt different, smoother, cleaner, somehow more perfect. He later discovered that tiny coin, a 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, was not just rare, it was special. That discovery led to a stunning revelation: he had been sitting on a small treasure for decades. This coin, minted during a time when the U.S. Mint faced subtle production transitions, had somehow slipped through without the identifying mint mark that should have been there. And that small omission made all the difference. So, what makes the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable? Most 1978 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, but this particular version lacks any mint mark entirely, indicating a rare and unusual production variation. While Philadelphia coins often lacked a mint mark, this version displays a unique die pattern and metal composition that experts believe came from a limited experimental batch. Collectors have verified that only a handful of these, no-mark, 1978 Lincoln pennies remain in pristine condition, and those few are now commanding thousands of dollars in private sales and auctions. The combination of its age, clean design, and missing mint identifier has turned it into a high-demand collector's gem. Imagine how many people have unknowingly spent this rare penny at a gas station, slipped it into a parking meter, or handed it to a grandchild for a candy bar. Every year, stories emerge of collectors finding treasures worth more than new cars, coins that others tossed aside as just a penny. One woman from Ohio even confessed she had dozens of 1978 pennies she gave away years ago, never realizing one might have been worth a small fortune. Don't let that be your story. The truth is, these hidden treasures aren't gone, they're just waiting to be rediscovered. If you have a jar of old pennies tucked away, here's what makes the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny stand out. The front should show the familiar image of President Lincoln, but look carefully beneath the date. There should be no mint mark, not even a faint letter D or S. The surface will appear slightly smoother than most 1970s pennies, often with a crisp, well-defined rim. Flip it over, and the Monticello, the iconic building on the reverse, should have strong, clear lines, as if it were struck with extra care. This combination of features has made it one of the most sought-after modern-era pennies among serious collectors. If you think you've found one, the next step is simple: have it verified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, or visit a trusted local coin dealer. These experts can confirm authenticity, assess condition, and even provide certification that can multiply your coin's value instantly. Many collectors have walked in with a handful of change and walked out with life-changing surprises. It truly happens more often than you'd think. So before you dismiss that old jar of coins sitting in your kitchen drawer or basement shelf, take one more look. That small penny, the same kind you used to hand out for bubble gum or drop into a payphone, could now hold a piece of American history, and perhaps, your next big opportunity. Because in the world of rare coins, it's the simple things that often turn out to be extraordinary. If you love stories like this, where history meets hidden fortune, make sure you subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the wealth of history hiding in plain sight. Your next treasure might just be resting in the palm of your hand. 1979. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1979, one you might have handed over for a stick of gum or found in your pocket change, could today be worth thousands of dollars? Imagine that. A tiny copper coin from your youth, sitting quietly in a drawer or jar, could hold more history and hidden value than you ever dreamed. Let me tell you a story. Not long ago, an older gentleman from Indiana was cleaning out his late father's desk. Inside an old cigar box, he found dozens of worn Lincoln pennies, nothing special at first glance. But one stood out. It was dated 1979, with no mint mark beneath the date. Curious, he had it checked, and to his surprise, it was a rare no-mint mark Monticello Thomas Lincoln penny, a coin that collectors have been quietly hunting for decades. That little piece of metal, forgotten for over 40 years, turned out to be worth several $1,000s. It was like discovering a time capsule of American history, a connection between generations, and a reminder that sometimes, the past rewards those who remember it. So what makes this 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special? Most coins from that year were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints, and almost all bear a small mint mark beneath the date. But a limited batch left the presses in Philadelphia without that tiny P. These coins are remarkably rare, especially when found in near-perfect condition. What makes them even more intriguing is their historical tie to America's late 1970s economy, a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning production and the penny still carried a proud 95% copper composition. This combination of scarcity, historical significance, and nostalgia has made collectors eager to own one. You'd be surprised how many people have unknowingly spent these coins over the years. Imagine finding one in your childhood piggy bank and using it to buy a soda, never realizing its hidden fortune. Many have done exactly that, and every time one slips through the cracks, the remaining coins become even more valuable. The truth is, these rare 1979 no-mint mark pennies are getting harder to find every year, and their demand is growing fast. If you have a 1979 Lincoln penny, hold it close and look just beneath the date on the obverse side. There should be no small letter, no D, no S, and no P. That blank space is your treasure map. The coin should show Abraham Lincoln's portrait crisp and centered, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. If it's in exceptional condition, bright luster, minimal scratches, and sharp details, you might just be holding a collector's dream. Before you celebrate, get your coin authenticated by professionals like PCGS or NGC. These trusted grading services can confirm if your penny is the real deal, and their certification can turn your discovery into a prized collector's piece that sells for thousands. Many coin dealers across the country are also actively searching for these right now, because demand is soaring, and supply is dwindling. So before you toss that old jar of pennies aside, take one last look. You might not just be holding a coin, you could be holding a piece of America's story, a symbol of simpler times, and perhaps even a small fortune. Because history doesn't always come wrapped in gold, sometimes, it hides in copper. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the stories, and the wealth, hidden in plain sight. 1986. What if I told you that a single penny from 1986, a coin you might have passed through your hands without a second thought, could now be worth thousands of dollars? Imagine that tiny copper piece, sitting forgotten in a jar or tucked in an old drawer, suddenly becoming one of the most sought-after coins in America. This isn't just another story about spare change, this is the story of the mysterious 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that turned ordinary collectors into treasure hunters overnight. Back in 1986, America was changing fast. The penny, that familiar symbol of hard work and everyday value, still carried Abraham Lincoln's portrait on one side and the Grand Monticello design on the other. Millions of these coins were struck that year at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But then, something happened that no one expected. A small batch of pennies left the mint missing their mint marks entirely. No P, no D, nothing at all to show where they came from. It was as if they appeared out of thin air. Decades later, a retired teacher in Ohio opened her childhood coin jar, the same one she'd filled while raising her kids, and among the worn copper tones, she spotted something unusual. A 1986 penny without a mint mark. She almost tossed it aside, but a glimmer of curiosity led her to look it up. That tiny detail turned out to be a ticket to a small fortune. So, what makes the 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable? It all comes down to a rare minting mistake, a die error where the mint mark was accidentally left off the coin during production. Most coins from Philadelphia should have had a P by then, but a small number didn't. The result was an ultra-rare error coin that slipped quietly into circulation. And because so few were ever found, collectors today are willing to pay thousands for a pristine one, especially in uncirculated or proof-like condition. Too many people have unknowingly spent these coins in vending machines, coffee shops, or while buying candy for their kids. Some even tossed them in parking lot change trays, never realizing what they had. Every time that happens, another piece of history is lost. It's heartbreaking to think that a coin that could have changed someone's life ended up rolling away in a handful of pennies. The beauty of this treasure hunt is that anyone can take part. If you have a penny dated 1986, hold it under good light and look closely at the area just below the date. If there's no mint mark, not a D or a P in sight, you could be looking at something truly extraordinary. The condition matters, yes, but even worn examples are being snapped up fast by collectors who understand just how rare this error really is. If you think you found one, don't guess, get it confirmed. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can officially verify your coin's authenticity and value. Once certified, it's not just a penny anymore, it's a piece of American history with your name attached to it. So before you dismiss that old jar of change sitting in your kitchen or the coins your grandkids love to play with, take another look. That single penny could be the key to a story worth telling, a reminder that even the smallest things can hold incredible value. Hidden treasures aren't just buried deep in the earth, sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover history, one coin at a time. Because your next discovery might just be the one that changes everything. 1988. What if I told you that a single penny from 1988, one you might have handled at the grocery store or found jingling in your pocket, could now be worth thousands of dollars? Yes, the humble 1988 D. Lincoln Memorial penny, the kind that most of us never gave a second glance, is turning heads across the collecting world today. Some of these coins are now so rare and sought after that collectors are paying small fortunes just to own one pristine example. Picture this, it's 1988, and America is on the edge of a new decade. Gas is cheap, life feels simpler, and spare change still means something. A young man in Denver, working long shifts at a local diner, tosses his tips into a coffee jar every night, never thinking twice about the pennies piling up. Decades later, while sorting through those coins with his grandson, he stumbles upon something extraordinary, a 1988 D Lincoln penny that looks different. The lettering is sharper, the design slightly off, and the D mint mark gleams with a peculiar charm. A local collector later confirms what he suspected: this wasn't an ordinary penny. It was one of the rare transitional varieties linked to the 1989 reverse design, a fascinating bridge between two minting eras. That one discovery turned his casual coin jar into a life-changing treasure. So, what makes this coin so special? The 1988 D Lincoln penny is famous for a subtle but powerful error, a transitional reverse design. In simple terms, the reverse of the coin, the Lincoln Memorial side, was accidentally struck using the 1989 design hub, creating a coin that never should have existed. The difference is incredibly hard to spot unless you know what to look for, but collectors can't get enough of it. Because only a small number escaped the mint that year, demand has skyrocketed. Perfect examples graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC have sold for thousands, and even circulated ones command impressive prices, and here's where it gets bittersweet. Imagine all the folks who've unknowingly spent these pennies over the years, tucked away in a handful of change at a gas station, or given to a child's piggy bank that was later cashed in. Every one of those tiny copper coins could have been a ticket to an unforgettable discovery. It's a reminder that sometimes, history hides in plain sight, and many never realize it until it's too late. That if you're lucky enough to have a few 1988 D pennies sitting in your collection or change jar, now's the time to take a closer look. The key lies in the reverse side of the coin. Check the details near the FG initials under the Lincoln Memorial. If they match the design of the 1989 penny, you may just have one of the rarest transitional errors ever struck. The D mint mark below the date confirms it came from Denver, and that's where the magic begins. Before you get too excited, make sure to have it professionally verified. Services like PCGS and NGC specialize in authentication and grading, giving your coin an official certificate of value that can skyrocket its worth. A genuine 1988 D transitional penny in top condition is in high demand. Collectors are watching the market daily, ready to grab any that surface. So before you spend another penny, pause for a moment. That little coin jar in your kitchen, the one you've ignored for years, could be holding your own piece of American history, maybe even your next big discovery. Because sometimes, the past doesn't just whisper, it glimmers. If you love stories like this and want to uncover the treasures hidden in your change, make sure to subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where every coin has a story, and every story might just change your life.